Mr. Raack. Next, Mr. Grayball's up.
Ron Raack, 10580 Southeast 131st Place. To start, we'll do a little bit of recap here. Article 1, Section 5 of the Florida Constitution says that we instruct you guys. It's the way it's supposed to be. And so I don't know if you guys don't comprehend that or you don't care. I'm a little confused about that whole thing. When the people say something needs to get done, you guys are just supposed to do it. I gave you all some pictures here of Miss Gavin's house. The one that has her name on it, that shows her property, it makes this very, very clear where the floodplain is. This woman should never have gotten water, period. All the maps that I've given you, the second map that's in color, all that blue, that is the FEMA flood zones. But not only the FEMA flood zones, that's also Marion County, because I checked both boxes on that website. So again, if you look at where her property is, it's funny because the last meeting when I was here, I told you those flood zones were off to the east before I even saw these pictures. So I already knew that. This just confirms what I've already said. This poor woman has suffered enough for the last 4 or 5 years with this water coming into her home. And there's a lot of other people that are getting involved in this that you guys haven't seen yet. The last 2 pictures that I've given you here are, and I know they're kind of blurry, but who knows how far up in the air these were taken from. It shows the road before it was reslagged and after. You can see the spill off on the last picture, I think it is, if I got them in the right order, where they just dumped it off into that dirt road. And the one before that is, it actually shows that's kind of level. I also have, and I wanted to get it to you, I wasn't able to, but I'm going to email you some other pictures. That property across the street, there is a building that is on stilts, okay? But if you stand in Mrs. Gavin's front yard and you look at that building, it's actually level. So the question is why why would that building across the street be on stilts? And where it's actually, the building actually is on top of those stilts is even with Mrs. Gavin's yard. Again, the problem is that road was redone in a very, very poor manner. And whether it was intentional, I can't imagine that it was intentional. But at this point, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it happened. It doesn't matter who's to blame. At this point, none of that is relevant. What is relevant is this woman's house has been destroyed by the county. You guys have to build her a new home. That's your responsibility. Whether it happened on your watch, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I got to tell you, petitions are coming. We've got this in the works. As far as those other roads around that area, the dirt roads that y'all are saying is private property, we got some issues with that as well. And since I've got some time, we'll talk about that real quick. If that's private property, okay, what are county street signs doing on private property? If it's private, that means that the county has no business being there. Private means private. Okay, and here's the other thing is, we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago and I asked, where's the title for this property? Oh, well, we can't find a title. No, that's not acceptable. You can't have property without a title or a deed. And I've actually got some legal eagles looking into this whole thing in other areas, and helping me out to find out exactly who owns this property. But if the county abandoned this property, and the reason I say that is because of where that school is built and the fact that that road was used to service that school, then one of 2 things has happened. Either the county used that road without the permission of the people to service that school, or that had to be a county road. You can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways. So that's just some stuff to think about, but I've got some emails that I'll get off to you guys, and if you have questions or comments, I'm here.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Again, on Miss Gavin's property, Commissioner Gold and those folks are working on it, so.
Quick update on that. I think when we had our meeting that he's talking about, I think a lot of those areas were addressed then, and I trust our staff and the county engineer that they're doing the right things out there and have a lot more experience in what's going on. The main concern I had was the direction that was being given to some of the residents not to fill out the forms that would get their federal assistance, and it was stated that one of the reasons why is because the group that is helping them had been in contact with Congressman Yoho and Congressman.
No, because this is a rebuttal.
You
No,
are-
no, sir, this is a rebuttal.
You are done, sir.
No,
Not
this is a
finished
rebuttal.
talking.
Sir,
I get to
sir.
rebut what he's saying.
Officer.
I get to rebut what he's
No.
saying.
You can come back at the end during public comment. This is how it works.
Do
You
your
have
2
your
minutes.
5
Do it
minutes.
at the end.
Wait a minute, this happens every time when somebody
We are,
addresses something.
and we are allowed to do that, sir. So you had
Really,
your
so
5
you're
minutes.
above the law.
We had 5, you give your
I'm
5
glad my
minutes.
attorney's watching this.
Have your attorney watch all you want, sir.
So,
That's the way it works every single time.
No, it
You get your
doesn't,
5
because
minutes.
If something's made on the same topic.
No, it's not,
You always
sir.
get to rebut. Yes, you
No,
do.
it's
Now,
not a
I've
debate.
got video
Not a
proof.
debate.
all right. Real quick though, to finish off, and he can rebut at the end if he wants. I did make contact with the 2 congressmen's offices. They had just been in contact on Friday, this Friday.
Okay.
And then Congressman Yoho hadn't returned, but they weren't aware of any of the work that's being done. So I think we just need to have the residents, we need to address the residents and work with them.
Okay.
Because that's where
That's
it
where the
is.
issue's
And
at.
it'll cut a lot of the problems out in the middle, but I appreciate the volunteer work that's being done and everything, but it just needs to be organized and coordinated.
Okay.
But I think it's on a good track.
Thank you, Commissioner Gold.